Welcome to Truth UnCompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by sourcevibrations.com.
I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
You have entered into a dimension of truth where time does not exist and illusions are shattered. The journey of truth is intense. The journey of truth will set you free. Consider this a warning as you enter the dimension of truth uncompromised. All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is January 9th. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We are picking back up with our series, The Real Pilgrams, The True Story of Immigrants Coming to America, Part 10. If you have not joined us for this series, I would highly recommend you to listen to the archives. You can listen to us via Blog Talk or also on our YouTube channel. And our main points of reference for this series is two books. First one is White Trash, The 400-Year Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. And also, they were white and they were slaves. The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Early America by Michael A. Hoffman II. So with that said, I am going to bring on my co-host. I see Brother Sean. I'm not sure if he's ready. Brother, if you're ready, press *1 to get in the queue. And then I also see Sis Sandra. Yeah, Brother Sean's ready. I just want to make sure. All right, brother, let me bring you on. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Oh, listen, Power says, I'm good. How about you?
Good. I'm good. It's good to hear your voice. No, we took a little break. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let me bring in Sis Sandra just a second here. Peace and love, sis. How are you?
Oh, peace and love to you, Sis Rhonda. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. I'm still walking in a boot now.
Man.
Yeah, so it's broken or something. So, how are you, Brother Sean, and the family?
We are good.
Huh?
You breaking out, brother. Uh-huh.
I say we all good. Thanks for asking.
Good. Them holidays went real quick, didn't they? Especially when you're having fun.
Yes, they did. But I truly needed the break, and then I guess I had a premonition because I wind up getting sick, getting over a cold. So I'm like, okay, so that part worked out.
Yeah.
Me too.
Did you? Yeah, I was like, dang, this is crazy. So
he had a cold. You had a cold too, Brother Sean?
Yeah.
I'm just the only one with a broken foot.
Yeah, your foot all jacked up. We was all messed up all the way around. So we all needed that break.
That's funny.
So shout out to the family callers. I did miss you all over the little 2-week break. Shout out to the chat room. Scotty Saturn is the first one in the chat. So we have a lot of stuff. 2 weeks is a long for us because a lot of stuff jumps off. So we have a lot of follow-up. So I'm going to start out. Sis, did you have anything to go ahead on with the fuckery?
Oh, my goodness. You mean this present drama? That's, fake as it can be. It's just a fake. I had credited him to be the little horn until he pulled this stunt. And I said, he's acting. They're all actors playing a part. And my son pointed out that if Israel over there had got destroyed, then it would have wiped out all of Christendom. So I think he had to back because he didn't really expect that they were going to retaliate on him. But, they're trying to follow Daniel, the book of Daniel, and what the little horn will do. And I don't know if his name is Trump or not, I keep asking that question because, it's fake. Everything's fake. They found a hand with a ring on it. That's all they had. What happened to DNA? So, they bomb, they do an embassy just like Benghazi, right? The same drama, and everybody is like, and you just have to sit back and watch because there was a place called Little Bighorn where Custer and all his folks tried to take us down. And when he was taken down, then all of his other people. So I think, Daniel's history is gone. It's not a present-day history. It's a gone history. So the the script they're trying to enact, they're trying to follow the Bible. They're working hard at it, trying to get it to come to pass. And I think it's just fake. That's my opinion of this whole drama.
Right. I hear you, sis. I hear clear. Brother Sean, did you have any go ahead on with the story?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of that for a minute. Now, sure nothing is scripted, but I don't think Iran want for real. Because all Trump doing is removing deep state agents. A lot of them people, they tired of this BS too. That's why shit happening all over the world. These people uprising, having these riots and everything against their quote-unquote governments.
He's cutting out.
Yeah, you breaking up, brother.
That's why they didn't hit that because they weren't hit with that. They were just trying to save face. But who Trump took out, he was terrorizing his own people too. He took that man out because he's a deep state agent. That's why the Democrats so upset.
They got a deep state as far as I know of.
That's why the Democrats so upset.
Yeah, he was paid. All of those ISIS war fighters and stuff, I understand they were paid by this deep state situation.
Right, by the Democrats. That's why they so upset. He was their key man over there. They was making mad money with him. And now Trump that fucked all that up. That was their enforcer over there. So he showed them who really got the power. That's why they didn't turn around and try to do this thing as far as for this War Powers Act. They trying to limit what he can do over there.
With Iran.
Just Iran.
Right.
Now, since when have you been concerned about some fucking country? Did they sit up and do a War Powers Act against the president? Name one.
Well, you know, she did sit down. A Pelosi girl sat down and started praying. Excuse me. She started praying, and then they came up with that War Powers Act to limit his thing against Iran. But I understand it's not a set in stone. They just passed it, but it's not binding.
It's still got to get through the Senate.
Yeah.
Just like the impeachment.
Right. Which, they quiet as a, like Grandma and them used to say, a hooker in church. You don't hear much about that. So, my whole take on it is, we're just witnessing these empires collapsing.
Crumble.
I don't know if either of you saw in the news where Prince Harry and old girl are stepping down from their duties with the crown and going on their own, doing their thing also, supposedly and allegedly. So I just think it's an empire crumbling, and as usual, it's a lot of things behind the scenes that they're doing that we don't know about, and then what they're showing us, of course, is not necessarily what's going on. But I've always said from the beginning with Trump card, he's going to dance both in the middle. That's why he's that Trump card, that joker. He could use it any way that is necessary. But what I do feel very strongly that is definitely a collapsing of these empires. So, me personally, I'm going to sit back and just watch how it falls. So, let it burn. And, just like one of the party songs from back in the day where we used to party, it was, what was that saying? The roof is on fire.
We don't
need no water. Let that motherfucker burn. So that's what I honestly feel about it. It is what it is. So we'll.
Did you see London Has Fallen?
No, I need to see. Was that with with the melanated president or no?
Morgan Freeman, he was the vice president.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I need to watch that this weekend because I heard it was really good.
Oh, another thing since you mentioned London.
But guess what it was about?
What?
They caused London to fall, plus they wiped out 7 heads of countries, and they was trying to kill the president of the United States because he had killed his terrorist family in a drone.
You got to be kidding.
Almost the same what we're going on now. Oh my goodness.
I wish I was kidding.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
I mean,
did you hear?
It's well executed.
Yeah, that's good. Did
wow.
you hear that? The third? The one they dug up his skeletal remains, and we know this, Rhonda, that he's not related to them folks at all.
Who's not, sis? Who? I didn't catch the name. Who's
Richard the second or the third?
Girl. Yeah, I did hear that while he was on break. I was like, no shit.
No surprise to that.
Right.
I'm thinking that Charles V is not related to James Stewart. I think because he's the one who gave him the. Remember, he's the one that gave.
Yeah, because they the ones that wasn't Charles and them Charles V and them bloodline. Because they are and Sis Cheryl, if you're listening, you could just drop me a message if I got this wrong. But I think he was a Habsburg. I'm talking about Charles V, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Habsburg, yeah.
But him and that Stewart line and y'all, I got some proof. I brought some receipts this week too on that Stewart line. So that's interesting that you brought that up, sis, about King Richard's bones. So yeah, when I saw that in the news, I'm like, yeah, no shit.
No, that ain't surprising, is it? We know he ain't related.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, speaking of, let me get to these receipts. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Sean.
Is he saying something?
No, he said something, and I don't know if he got. Yeah. Okay. We was waiting on you. We thought you wanted to put something on it.
Yeah, it was this other movie called Geostorm that came on after that. And when the movie came on, it was talking about everything that's going on with nature and how the planet is trying to cleanse itself of people. Now all the governments have come together to try and fight against her.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
If they ain't rubbing everything in our face.
Right in our face. And, of course, the sky activity has been off the chain lately.
Yeah.
For the past 2 days, my way, they had to chemtrailing because when the sky is rising, because the sky literally turns reddish pink.
Mm.
And of course, the chemtrailing is right where the sun is rising. Sometimes me personally, it feels like it's daytime out. When it's night, I can get up at 4:00 in the morning, walk outside, and it's just not pitch black. It's like it doesn't get pitch black anymore.
No, it
So
doesn't.
it's a lot going on, and that's not mentioning that the grounds are definitely opening up. A lot more sinkholes are taking place. It is saying that the vibration rate, and they're calling that the seismic or seismic resonance, I may be pronouncing that wrong, is rising very, very high. The level of UV radiation on the planet is at very extreme levels, and it stays that way. So that's another reason that they are spraying the skies as well to try to block out all of those UV radiation that's bombarding the planet. So the planet is she's literally changing herself, and a lot of cleanup is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And these beings, it's just their time is up. And then some of them also, those that are not in tune, are having a difficult time adjusting. Now, it is said that there is a crack in the quote dome, and that's also letting in a lot of radiation as well, UV radiation.
They blew a hole in the.
I'm sorry.
They blew a hole in that dome.
Well, if they did, that was very stupid on their part, because they know damn well that their bodies cannot adjust to this UV radiation. So just all around, it's a lot of stuff going on from a nature perspective. And so I think, in addition to the empires falling, they're also using that as an opportunity to bombard the media with the drama, with the different nations, to, as usual, keep people distracted from the things in nature that's going on. Because quite frankly, it just still trips me out that people aren't even noticing that, the sun is rising and setting in a different fucking place. It's like people don't even notice. So very, very deep stuff that's going on. All right, so I am trying to, hopefully this is my article, find this article. This sister on Facebook, she posted the article, and it was really, the focus of the article was really on, there it is, right in front of my face, this Civil War mansion. Because she likes old buildings, architecture. I love old buildings and architecture because they really tell a story. And if you all are not familiar with the work of a man called John Levy on YouTube, I highly he does a lot of research looking at old architecture and, proving how the history that they're telling us is very inaccurate. So, that also made me look at older architecture in a new way. I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead. You had something?
No. It's shady. I just added the word shady.
Yeah, shady as F, absolutely. So shout out to the sis who posted this article. So the article, I saw it in two places, but this particular source is NewYorkState.com home, and it's called For Sale in Upstate New York, Fixer-Upper Civil War Mansion for $50,000 with 10 bedrooms. All right, so yes, for the love of history, here's an incredible Gothic revival worth saving in Auburn, New York. Built in 1861, the James Seymour Mansion is a home with Victorian architecture built with skilled labor and without regards to cost during the Civil War era, according to broker Michael DeRosa. The home was built for Auburn banker James Sheldon Seymour when he was 70 years old. Seymour, a philanthropist, is known for leaving bequests that founded Seymour Library and the Auburn City Hospital. It was designed by architect John W. Vinderbosch. The property was later owned by Charles McCarthy, founder of Dunn's and McCarthy Shoes. All right, so I'm getting to it. Yeah, I'm going to skip past some of it. Oh, damn. So it was actually the city of Auburn currently owns the property from a tax foreclosure June 3rd, 2019. So they're letting it sit waiting for a buyer, but it's on sale for $50,000. Which is quite cheap, y'all. So here we go. I'm going to get to the little part. Here it goes, y'all. The Seymour Mansion is located at 113 North Street, one of the main streets in Auburn. Founded in 1793, the city is a hub for key figures and events in the history related to the Civil War, Underground Railroad, women's rights, and much more. Auburn is where iconic American heroes Harriet Tubman, hold y'all seats, and William H. Seward lived while helping lead slaves to freedom on the Underground Railroad. It's believed that Seymour was a close friend of Seward. Here's why that's bombshell news. The Negro Question, Part 6, The 13 Black Colonies by Lee Cummings. Go to page 147. Ancient map of Scotland. I went back on the timeline and pulled up a list of men, women, and children that Harriet Tubman Ross Stewart rescued from the South. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw the last name Ross and Stewart on the list of rescued people. Then I took a look at Harriet Tubman's parents' name and I saw the names Ross and Stewart. I immediately ran to the map and saw Ross and Stewart in the Highlands of Scotland. I reread the writings of the European witnesses. The Stewarts on the ship's manifest are black. The images of the Stewart kings are black, and the Stewarts that Harriet Tubman rescued from the South were black. So at the top of that page, he has a ship manifest, and it's filled with the names of the Stewarts. There is a John Stewart, William Henry Stewart, etc., etc. Here's the thing. That Stewart name, also, they switched it up and called themselves Seward. Okay? So, I just named in this ship manifest, and what date was the ship manifest from? I would have to, y'all. I would have to dig for it. I just named to y'all the second name on this ship manifest, William Henry Stewart. Who was linked up with Harriet Tubman back in the day? And according to this article, William H. Seward. Okay? So, in other words, this proves, and I'll just go, oh, shit, my bad. He does have it in here. Page 149. The name William Stewart can be found on the convict ship Hocking Hill and the ship York. This simply proves that the Stewart royals were being rounded up and deported into the colonies as convicts. What was their crime? They believed in the divine right of kings to rule, and they tried to restore the black stewards to the throne of the three kingdoms. Let's play the game conspiracy theory. What are the odds that the same name, William Henry Stewart, appears as the Secretary of State in the administration of Abraham Lincoln? Think about this. Harriet Tubman Stewart rescues a man with the name William Henry Stewart in 1855, and 11 years later, the same name appears as Secretary of State of the United States minus the T. What are the odds? So, this article says that Harriet Tubman and William H. Seward, and on his ship manifest, his name was William Henry Stewart, and then a William Henry Seward, which has to be the same Seward that was hanging out with Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, winds up being the Secretary of State on the administration under Abraham Lincoln. So there you have it, right there in plain sight. And I just so happened to read the article and I just screamed. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So there you have it. Right in our face. Okay. I'm going to move on. I got a bunch of stuff to go over. Let me see, where do I want to go here? Bear with me, family. Sorry, I had so many updates. I'm trying to choose which one I want to go over. I might have to come back to it. Hold on a second. All right, I think I'm going to get into the lesson. I'm going to have to organize my notes a little better because I did have a lot of follow-up, and now my notes are all over the place, so I don't want to wait. So, Brother Sean or Sis, did you all have anything else before we get back into the topic?
I don't really have anything to say.
Okay, because I was like, am I still on the air?
Yeah, I had to unmute.
Okay, that's fine.
Only thing I can say.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Only thing I can say is all the regimes are seeming to look like they're linked to each other. Iran is no more enemy to the United States than Saudi or any of the rest of them. I think they're just all actors who, are trying to get rid of the people. Because, if you look at the skies, it says bad times are ahead. Mm-hmm. And so how are they going to feed all these people? And then you have Albert Pike had the letters of Albert Pike that says that they're going to have religious wars to help eliminate some of the people on the planet, the Muslims against Christians. So all those letters, and then you have that Trump. let's see, he's a supremacist, they say. What did he just do? I forget, but he's supporting that Pike letter, I think. That's the supremacist part of the situation, that they're trying to make these Arabs go crazy, and the frequencies are making people wackier than loons.
Yeah, now that they are. Absolutely, that they are. I agree with you, sis. And again, shout out to Brother Lee Cummings. Just that article alone validates, although you gave receipts in your work already, but that article backs up exactly what you said regarding Harriet Tubman's connection to the Stewart / Ross. So shout out to you. Excellent work. Yes, Scotty Saturn. Scotty Saturn says that's why they got the Nigeria British woman playing Harriet in that movie. Absolutely. That is exactly why they had that connection with that actress playing that role. And then Scotty also says, yes, love John Levy and the old architecture and technology and electricity that they had. Absolutely. All right, family. So where we left off, we were still in white trash, the 400-year untold history of class in America. We was on Benjamin Franklin, and I highly encourage, if you have not read an article, it is an article that Benjamin Franklin wrote, and it is very telling about him telling who was really where. So this was in 1751, and the name of the article is Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind Peopling of Country. And basically, just a short synopsis of the article, he was pretty much saying that he did not want slaves coming into the Americas because it wasn't that many white folk there. And the most, thing, to prove that point, he says the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of newcomers, wholly so. The Saxons only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. And so he goes on to name all of the different nations that are tawny and black, Russia, Germany, England, etc. So in this particular book, the author in White Trash, a 400-year untold history of class in America, she just was once again pointing out how the quote founding fathers, and she was on Benjamin Franklin, his whole thing was about the come up for the white folks, the white pilgrims who came over to the Americas as indentured servants. So trying to change those dynamics, okay? And we told you all that based on the information that we have been researching, we did the series, The Black Nobility, that all of those European kingdoms were ruled by black nobility or melanated nobility. So the Stuarts, which is King James and people, were melanated. And, as you just heard me read, that Harriet Tubman was tied to them, and she wasn't freeing just any old Negro slaves. She was freeing her particular people from slavery. So this whole concept of the founding fathers, they were put in the positions by those black nobility kings to run the particular colonies. But eventually, as that black nobility kingdom kept warring with each other, and as the indigenous people of America kept warring against the system they were setting up, or that was set up here, the change of power started to happen. Okay, and white folks, I'm going to say again, white folks did not come into power until the late 1800s, early 1900s. World War II was to finish off changing of the guards of those particular melanated, tawny slash black kingdoms to white kingdoms. Now, interestingly enough, it appears, I'm going to try to do a little bit more research. I know it's going to be hard to do, but it appears that the first rulers, when the change took over from the old world, and when you hear the term old world, that represents black slash melanated kingdom. Okay, the new world is the Caucasian white kingdom. And that as that power change was happening, those black nobility kingdoms started putting their mulatto relatives into the seats of power. So, in other words, their relatives that could pass were looking Caucasian. Okay, now I don't have all of the evidence, but I started looking at some of those early leaders, and I'm like, I don't know about that. So, more to come on that. All right. Shout out to GD Thompson 42 in the chat room as well. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
Some of the with this situation that's going on right now, they've been bringing up the God, you said mulatto, and I thought what I was the Mongols. This is the Mongol. This is the Mongol Empire. So Genghis Khan was right in about 1100, and that you said it was 18 something. Their empire lasted for 500 and some odd years, I think it was, and they did it. They went into Russia and they took them down. And you said they were melanated at that time. They took them down. They took Germany down. They took the Ukraine is the last Mongolian empire, and they're all related to Russia and all that kind of stuff. And so the 1300s was when they was ruling in full force. Now, when I was reading Daniel, they have all these beasts, coming up out of the sea and all this kind of stuff. Well, one of the things that Daniel says in the 7th chapter, I think it is, he said the beasts came up out of the earth. And those are the ones that you see now who's going to be in the end time with the, like the beast in Revelations and all that kind of stuff. So when you look at the DNA of the R1D2, whatever, that's the Neanderthal DNA, and that's what they were calling the slaves when they were sacrificing them back in the day you're talking about. They called them beasts, and they were expendable because they knew their ancestry without the DNA. So they came up out, and in that Mercator map, I think of 1553, it showed them under the ground. And so that Out of Africa movie they had, it was them coming up.
Exactly. Excellent point, sis.
So now, and if you look at an old European, a real old European with that Mongolian DNA, they get their dowager's hump. They can't even stand up anymore because they have the same posture as a primate. And I'm like, how come we don't always get them dowager humps like that when we get old?
Well,
serious. I looked at one of our
No, go ahead.
I looked at one of our ex-presidents, and he got the dowager's hump. And I said, interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing that just tripped me out as we've been going down this journey with doing our research because, I mean, literally everything has been reversed because they're saying that melanated people in the Americas were from Africa and that the European and the Caucasians are Europeans when everything is reversed. You have I'm more European than folks calling themselves Caucasian because their DNA ties back to that African continent. Right. So it literally everything has been reversed. And even, on that map that you referred to, you saw it was so much shit going on with that map. You did see white folks or Caucasian people, some of them underground, but then you also did see, G.D. Thompson 42 said it. Damn, that's deep. But you also saw different creatures that it looks like a lot of genetic mutation was going on in Africa, or experimentation, I'll put it that way, and probably caused mutation. And then in addition to that, you did see white kingdoms in Africa. Literally, you saw white kings and queens in Africa, and then you also saw the Moors. Okay, you saw the African kingdom, and you saw the African kingdoms fighting against these beasts, those creatures, rather, that were genetically manipulated / mutation. Okay, so everything that they have taught, none of it is true. They've literally reversed up everything. Yes, G.D. Thompson 42, it was northwest Amexem from the Moors. Yes, because if you look at those older maps, North Africa was only the size of a state. Okay, so you would assume that's where the Moors resided. All right, so yeah, nothing on what they speak of is truth. Nothing whatsoever. Now, there is a man on YouTube, but I think it was a PBS documentary. He is an Asian man, and he did some scientific study dealing with DNA, and he linked it to this one fish that was, quote, quote, albino, and he found this gene in this fish that was a mutation. So he started looking at the DNA of Asians, and he said that same type of mutation existed in the Asians. So a lot of things have went on this planet that folks are not being truthful about. And that's why it is very important that everyone research your heritage and not allow anyone to tell you who you are. Only your family can tell you, and only you doing your own research can tell you as well, because most of us that live in the Americas that are melanated, our heritage is mixed. We're mixed. We're European, melanated European, as well as indigenous to this land as well. Because as those melanated Europeans started coming over here.
5 seconds. You ready? I'm ready. All right, let's remind everybody of time there. 5 seconds on the clock, please.
Where'd you go?
How many times a day does a psycho girlfriend call a boyfriend?
You broke off?
For food that smells really awful when it goes bad. Brussels sprouts. Name a state that starts with the letter M. Missouri. Give me a word that rhymes.
We can't hear you.
Jangle. Give me the noisiest animal on the farm. Hyena.
Hmm.
They say shine, man. How many times a day does psycho girlfriend call her boyfriend used to hit?
Brother Shine, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What happened to Rhonda?
I have no idea. I stepped away for a minute.
Because she was cutting off a lot, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
Maybe she switched to phones.
No, she was talking in the mid-sentence. And they cut her off. I can't get her back.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, here we go with the fuckery. You see what I'm saying? So where did I get cut off at? The nerve.
I don't know.
Oh, that pisses me off. But bottom line is do your research, because what they are telling us is not true. And I say and say again, especially to the melanated people in the Americas, more than likely you are not African. You are more European, and no, you're not more European because you're mixed with European and African, and your family slave holders were white European. No, you're European bloodline because that's part of your heritage is from Europe, from when melanated people ruled over in Europe, and they made the journey over here. Now, whether or not they came over here through some type of agreement with those melanated/black nobility kings to get a piece of this land, or whether they got kicked out because of drama, or they were serving an indentured servants sentence, they started marrying into the bloodlines of the indigenous people. So when you're doing your research in your bloodline, if you start to see stuff tied back to Europe, do not think that that's mixed in with white folks. That's just telling you that part of your heritage comes from Europe, okay? And you're going to see in the records that, on those census records, sometimes that they will mislabel your folks as mulatto. Sometimes they'll be labeled white. Then sometimes they'll show up as black. If you get lucky, you'll see them show up as Indian. So that's just, again, some more tips for everyone. And I also encourage folks that think they're European, that are Caucasians, to trace your heritage as well. Go to them census records and start looking back. You should be able to trace what ship manifest your folks came over on as well. And for those whose heritage does trace back to Europe, then you would have to go to that particular nation and dig into their particular census records to get even more information. So there you go with that. Okay, let's move right along here. All right, so last time we were in the founding of Georgia under the colonized system, and we talked about how Georgia was originally set up as an experiment. So we're talking about the state of Georgia. It was originally set up as an experiment by Oglethorpe to not have any type of slavery or indentured servitude. He wanted it to set it up for white folks or poor indentured servants that are called Caucasians today, to give them the come up. Okay, so in other words, give them an opportunity to step out of poverty into middle class I'll put it that way. And he literally had to fight pretty hard to even get this experiment going, because a lot of the European investors wanted the slavery or the indentured servitude instead of paying folks a regular salary to do work for profit. So those that were against him had some change, and just like they do today, started using media smear campaigns, all that other drama, and to the point where somebody tried to kill the man, literally shot the man's damn wig off and ran him up out of the Americas. And then that's when slavery officially made it into Georgia. So I did pull Georgia's charter, because I said I wanted to read that. So let me get Georgia's charter. Here we go. All right, so let me take a swig of water first, y'all. Excuse me. All right, this is the Charter of Georgia, 1732. So, sis, you'll get a kick out of this. George II, by the grace of God, of Great Britain, France, and Ireland King, defender of the faith, and so forth, to all whom these presents shall come greeting. Now, I wonder if he's the George that they call the black boy. Because one of those Georges, I think it was him. They called him the black boy because he was darker complexion and his mom was light-skinned, what we call in the melanated community light-skinned. All right, anyway.
That was George III, I think, because they the one that called him crazy.
Okay, so George II must have been his father then. Okay. All right, so it goes, whereas we are credibly informed that many of our poor subjects are, through misfortunes and want of employment, reduced to great necessity, insomuch as by their labor they are not able to provide a maintenance for themselves and families. And if they had means to defray their charges of passage and other expenses incident to new settlements, they would be glad to settle in any of our provinces in America, whereby cultivating the lands at present waste and desolate, they might not only gain a comfortable subsistence for themselves and their families, but also strengthen our colonies and increase the trade, navigation, and wealth of these are realms. Okay, so notice that word realms he used. But anywho, and whereas our provinces in North America have been frequently ravished by Indian enemies, more especially that of South Carolina, which in late war by the neighboring savages was laid waste with fire and sword, and great numbers of English inhabitants miserably massacred, and our loving subjects who now inhabit them, by reasons of smallness of their numbers, will, in case of a new war, be exposed to late calamities, inasmuch as their whole southern frontier continued unsettled and lieth open to said savages. All right, so just real quick, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, I know they were it was all connected. So this whole concept of the states we see today, that was split up by colonization, all right? So, of course, those South Carolinians would be up in arms and kicking ass because these people were on their land. All right, so here we go. And whereas we think it highly becoming our crown and royal dignity to protect all our loving subjects, be they ever so distant from us, to extend our fatherly compassion even to the meanest and most unfortunate of our people, and to relieve the wants of our above-mentioned poor subjects, and that it will be highly conducive for accomplishing those ends, that a regular colony of the said poor people be settled and established in the southern territories of Carolina. And whereas we have been well assured that if we will be most graciously pleased to erect and settle a corporation. All right, y'all catch that? We told y'all all of this shit is a corporation. We told you out the gate that's how it was set up. For the receiving, managing, and disposing of the contributions of our loving subjects, diverse persons would be induced to contribute to the uses and purposes aforesaid. Know ye, therefore, that we have for the considerations as foresaid, and for the better and more orderly carrying on of the said good purposes of our special grace, certain knowledge and mere motion, willed, ordained, constituted, and appointed, and by these presents for us, our heirs and successors, do will ordain, constitute, declare, and grant that our right trustee and well-beloved John, Lord Viscount Percival of our Kingdom of Ireland, our trustee and well-beloved Edward Digby. All right, so I'm giving you all the names. I am reading you the names about this charter from King Charles II, who he's appointing to be in charge of the state. It wasn't called state back then, territory of Georgia. These are the folks that he put into place. So, shoot, let me see, I done lost my doggone place. Okay, our Kingdom of Ireland, our trustee and well-beloved Edward Digby, George Carpenter, James Oglethorpe. All right, so those in Georgia, you know there's the Oglethorpe University. That's old boy who got his wig shot off because he didn't want slavery to come to Georgia, and they ran him back up over to Europe. George Heathcote, Thomas Tower, Robert Moore, Robert Hucks, Roger Holland, William Sloper, Francis Isles, John LaRoche. Now, isn't there a LaRoche Pharmaceutical? Peep game. James Vernon, William Belitha, Esquires A.M., John Burton B., D. Richard Bundy, A.M. Arthur Bedford, A.M. Samuel Smith, A.M. Adam Anderson, and Thomas Crane, gentlemen, and such other persons as shall be elected in the matter herein after mentioned, and their successors to be elected in the manner herein after directed. Be as shall be one body, politic and corporate. And we keep telling y'all this is all about commerce. In deed and in name forever, and that by the same name they and their successors shall and may have perpetual succession, and that they and their successors by that name shall and may forever hereafter be persons able and capable in the law to purchase, have, take, receive, and enjoy, to them and their successors and manors, messengers, lands, tenements, rent, avowsums, liberty, privileges, jurisdictions, franchises, and other hereditaments whatsoever, lying and being in Great Britain or any part thereof of whatsoever nature, kind or quality or value they be, in fee and in perpetuity, not exceeding the yearly value of £1,000 beyond reprises, also estates for lives and for years, and all other manners of goods, chattels, and things whatsoever they be, for the better settling and supporting and maintaining the said colony and other uses as foresaid, and to give, grant, I said that, and their successors by the name as foresaid shall may forever hereafter be persons able, capable in law to purchase, have, take, receive, and enjoy them and their successors, any lands, territories, possessions. Okay, I think I read that. Sorry, y'all. And being in America of what quantity, quality, or value whatsoever they be, for the better settling and supporting of maintaining said colonies. All right, sorry, this is little ass writing, so I'm keep repeating myself because I'm losing my place. All right, let me get to this place. All right, lying and being in America of what quality? All right, the answer. Defend and be defended in all courts and places whatsoever, and before whatsoever judges, justices, and other officers of us, our heirs and successors, in all and singular action, plaintiffs, pleas, matters, suits, and demands of what kind, nature, or quality soever they be, and to act and do all matters and things in an ample manner and form as any of our league subjects of this realm of Great Britain, and that they and their successors forever hereafter shall and may have common seal to serve for the causes of business of them and their successors, and that it shall and may be lawful for them and their successors, to change, break, alter, and make new the said seal from time to time at their pleasure and as they think thinks best. So I'm going to sip my motherfucking water. Give me a minute because I want to reread that sentence. Remember, this King Charles II appointing his boys them, giving them this charter, which is really a contract. I told you all from the beginning, a charter is a contract to do business. Every state in the United States has a charter because it's all commerce. It was set up out the gate as commerce. All right, so I'm going to read this last sentence so you all can really get, hopefully, what is going on. And they, and that they, and their successors forever hereafter shall and may have a common seal to serve for the causes and business of them and their successors, and that it shall and may be lawful for them and their successors to change, break, alter, and make new the said seal from time to time and at their pleasure and as they think best. So hopefully you get the game. He just pretty much told them, if you have to switch this motherfucking shit up, switch it up to keep commerce going. And we do further grant for us, our heirs and successors, that the aid corporation and the common council of the said corporation hereinafter by us appointed may from time to time and at all times meet about their affairs when and where they please and transact and carry on the business of the said corporation. Okay, now I don't know about y'all, but he making it pretty motherfucking clear to me why they were here. And for the better execution of the purposes as foresaid, we do by these presents for us, our heirs and successors, give and grant to the said corporation and their successors, that they and their successors forever may, upon the third Thursday in the month of March, yearly meet at some convenient place to be appointed by the said corporation, or major part of them who shall be present at any meeting of the said corporation to be had for the appointing of the said place, and that they, or 2/3 of such of them, that shall be present at such yearly meetings and at no other meetings of said corporation between the hours of 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon of the same day, choose and elect such person or persons to be members of said corporation, as they shall think beneficial to the good design of said corporation. So I'll pause. Who are the elections benefiting? The corporation. Those elected officials are doing it on behalf and the benefit of the corporation. We told you all this shit is commerce. Now, this is the first charter out the gate for Georgia. Shit can't get no clearer. But yet, we really think that we're going to the polls and electing presidents and vice presidents and cabinet members, and you're still not entering overstanding that it's a fucking corporation that these folks run. And that corporation answers to someone. All right. Shit, I didn't mess around and lost my place. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean. I can get my place back. Go ahead.
I didn't hear anywhere in there where it sounded like that they planned on giving it back.
I didn't hear that. Didn't it say your successors, their successors?
Forevermore?
Exactly. And I give you permission to switch that seal up from time to time as you see fit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to motherfucking make sure I wasn't putting words up in George II's mouth. All right. So let's see. Sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
I said, who taught them that? Allegedly.
You mean the founding fathers?
I mean, wasn't it the Moors who allegedly taught them the game?
Well, yeah, the founding fathers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Mm. So if somebody had to give them permission to do stuff here, that means that they didn't have any rights here.
Exactly.
So they created paperwork giving them rights.
Exactly.
Mm. And also in creating and giving themselves rights and jurisdiction that made our people prisoners of war.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah. Because he said that the Indians, those savages, kept fucking with them.
And what they poke asses over here. They get the fuck out.
Exactly. Because that's why they couldn't occupy like they wanted to those southern lands. Specifically, he called out South Carolina. And as I told you, Georgia was a part of that Carolina territory. All right. So,
yeah, and it makes sense why they.
I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
It makes sense why they were sending all them servants over here and telling people that they could get land grants and this, that, or the other, because they want to bring their asses over here initially and get fucked up. So they kept sending all these sacrificial lambs over here and sent sick people to spread diseases and all type of fuckery.
Exactly. So the Caucasians that wind up coming over here for under them indentured servant contracts, and they work them like a motherfucking dog, and they wind up dying, or then they ran away last time. The last show we talked about how they ran away from their indentured servant contract and hid in the motherfucking swamps of the Carolinas. All right. So, and also the author was saying because the Europeans that had money, they didn't want to do no motherfucking work. No type of work. All right. So, in our further will and pleasure is that if it shall happen that any person hereon after by us appointed as the common council of said corporation, or any person to be elected or admitted members of the said common council in the manner hereafter directed, shall die or shall be writing under his and their hands respectively resign his or their office or offices of common councilman or common councilmen, that said corporation, or the major part of them, as shall be present, shall and may at such meeting on the said third Thursday in March yearly, in manner as foresaid, next after such death or resignation. So, I mean, he pretty motherfucking specific. And at no other meeting of said corporation into the room or place of such persons or persons so dead or so resigning, elect and choose one or more such person or persons being members of the said corporation, as to them shall seem meet, or our will is that all and every the person or persons which shall from time to time hereafter be elected common councilmen of the said corporation as foresaid do and shall be he or they as common men of the said corporation take an oath for the faithful and due execution of their office, which oath
the president of the said corporation for the time being is hereby authorized and required to administer to such persons or persons elected as foresaid. So in other words, anybody elected into these positions, the president of that corporation had to swear them in. And so that's where the term oath of office comes from. So don't think for a minute that oath of office still is not tied back to the crown, because it is. But here we go. And our will and pleasure is that the first president of the said corporation is and shall be our trustee and well. Did y'all catch that? Shall be our trustee. Now they just said TRSTY. And well beloved, the said Lord John Viscount Percival, and that the said president shall, within 30 days after the passing this charter, cause a summons to be issued to several members of the said corporation herein particularly named, to meet at such time and place as he shall appoint, to consult about the business of said corporation. And our will and pleasure is, as we, by these presents for us, our heirs and successors, grant, ordain, and direct, that the common council of this corporation shall consist of 15 in number, and we do by these presents nominate, constitute, and appoint our right trustee and well-beloved John Lord Viscount Percival, our trustee and beloved Edward Digby, George Carpenter, James Oglethorpe, George Heathcote, Thomas LaRoche, James Vernon, William Belitha, Esquires. So did y'all just catch what the fuck I read? Now, what I read, he appointed 2 trustees, and then the other dudes, so Oglethorpe was not a trustee. The other dudes were Esquire in title. And Stephen Hales, Master of Arts, to be the common counsel of the said corporation, to continue in the said office during their good behavior. And I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
If you have an Esquire, do you know you're a foreign agent? Because that's...
Yeah, talk about it, sis. Don't talk about it.
That's the title of a lawyer, Esquire, and that means they're under the crown of England and under the Queen's dictates. So when they call these guys Esquires, they were already under the crown when they came over here, and they weren't serving the people here at all. They were serving the crown.
Right. Right. Because they set it up where the charter is just a contract authorizing them to do business on the land for the purpose of under a corporation with appointed officers and trustees.
But see, the Constitution says you can't have any titles, like king, all that kind of stuff. But most of our Congress and Senate, House and Senate, Congress, are Esquires. They're foreigners to this land.
But
I hate to add that they're probably Russian too. But anyway.
Yeah, but the United States of America is a corporation.
Yeah, and it's under their queen. That's why your taxes go to the queen and to the pope.
Right. But folks thought other folks was making it up when they were saying that stuff, and all you have to do is pull up the charters. They lay out quite clear how they wanted stuff ran, and it never changed.
Mhm.
So anyhow, all right, la 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 la. I got Esquire Stephen Hales, Master of the Arts, to be the Common Council of the said corporation to continue in the said office during their good behavior. And whereas it is our royal intention that the members of the said corporation should be increased by election as soon as conveniently may be to a greater number than he is hereby nominated. Our further will and pleasure is, and we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, ordain and direct, that from time to time, from the time of such, increase the numbers of the said corporation. The number of the said common council shall be increased to 24, and that same assembly at which such additional members of the said corporation shall be chosen, there shall likewise be elected in the manner herein before directed for the election of common council men, 9 persons to be the said common council men, and to make up the number therefore 24. And our further will and pleasure is that our trustee and well-beloved Edward Digby, Esquire, shall be the first, which shall be had next and immediately after the first meeting of the said corporation or of the common council of the said corporation respectfully, and no longer at which said second meeting and every other subsequent and future meeting of said corporation or of the common council of the time being, and no other being present at such meeting shall severally or severely and respectively in their terms preside at meetings which shall be from time to time held of the said corporation or of the common council of the said corporation respectively, and in case any doubt or question shall at common council of the said corporation respectfully, who shall be present at such meetings, shit, they were specific, provided always that no member of the said common council have served in the offices of president of the said corporation or of the chairman of the common council of the said corporation shall be capable respectively, unless it shall so happen that any such meeting of the said corporation shall not be any other members of the said common council present. All right. And our will and pleasure is that at all and every of the meetings of the said corporation or the common council of the said corporation, the president or chairman for the time being shall have a voice and shall vote and shall act as a member of the said corporation or the common council of the said corporation at such meeting, and in any case of any equality of votes, the said president or chairman for the time being shall have the exercise a casting vote. And our further will and pleasure is that no president of the said corporation or chairman of the common council of the said corporation or member of the said corporation or the council or corporation by us by these presents appointed or hereafter from time to time be elected and appointed in manner aforesaid shall have, take, or receive directly or indirectly any salary, fee, prerequisite, benefit, or profit whatsoever for or by reason of his or their serving the said corporation or common council of the said corporation or president, chairman, or common councilman, or as being member of the said corporation. Oh, so damn. So they weren't supposed to be paid in these positions under this particular charter, which is interesting. And our will and pleasure is that the said herein before appointed president, chairman, or common councilman before he and they act respectfully as such shall take an oath of
faithful and due execution of their trust to be administered to the president by the chief baron of the court exchequer, and I know I'm not pronouncing that right, for the time being, and by the president of the said corporation to the rest of the common council who are hereby authorized severely and respectfully to administer the same. And our will and pleasure is that all and every person and persons shall have in his or their own name or names, or in the name or names of any person or persons in trust for him or them, or for his or their benefit, any place, office, or employment of profit under the said corporation shall be incapable of being elected a member of the said corporation, and if any member of the said corporation during such time as he shall continue a member thereof shall in his own name or in the name of any person's possession and enjoying such office, place, and employment of profit cease to be a member of the said corporation. Damn. So in other words, they couldn't be hustling, benefiting from the corporation. All right, and we do for us, our heirs and our successors, grant unto the said corporation that they and their successors, or the major part of such of them as shall be present at any meeting of the said corporation, convene and assemble for the purpose by a convenient notice thereof, shall have power from time to time and at all times hereafter to authorize and appoint such persons as they shall think it fit to take subscriptions and to grant and collect such monies, and shall be by any persons or persons contributed to the purposes as foresaid, and shall and may revoke and make void such authorities and appointments as often as they see causes to do so. Oh, hold on, y'all. I got to take a sip. And just so y'all know, it took me some digging to get this charter, because it was only an excerpt of this charter. And you best believe none of the shit that I'm reading about this corporate, none of that shit was in that excerpt. So I had to do quite some digging to get this one. So here we go. And we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, ordain and direct that the said corporation shall every year lay an account in writing before the chancellor or speaker or commissioners for the custody of the Great Seal of Great Britain of us, our heirs and successors, the Chief Justice of the Court of King's Bench, the Master of Rolls of Chief Justice of the Court of Common Pleas, and the Chief Baron of the Exchanger of us, our heirs and successors for the time being, and any two of them of all monies and edicts by them received or expended for the carrying of the good purposes as foresaid. And we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, give and grant unto the said corporation and their successors full power and authority to constitute, ordain, and make such and so many bylaws, constitutions, orders, and ordinances as to them or the greater part of them at their general meetings for that purpose shall seem necessary and convenient for the well ordaining and governing of the said corporation. So I'm just going to read that back. I want that shit to seep in. For those that want to harp on Constitution law, this what your boy said, George II. Now this is in the Georgia Charter, but it should make sense on how things are set up at the federal level, what we know today. And we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, give and grant until the said corporation and their successors full power and authority to constitute, ordain, and make such and so many bylaws, constitutions, orders, and ordinances as to them or the greater part of them at their general meeting for that purpose shall seem necessary and convenient for the well ordaining and governing of the said corporation. Okay? So those ordinance, constitutions, that ain't for y'all motherfucking monk asses. That's for the benefit of the corporation. And the said bylaws, constitutions, ordinances, orders and ordinances, or any of them to alter and annul as they or the major part of them then present shall see requisite and by such bylaws, rules, orders, and go ahead, sis.
Well, now you can see why the 14th Amendment for the voting rights is a trick. Because they gave them full power over everything. It doesn't matter what you put down there. It don't matter at all.
Exactly.
These people running out here to vote are playing right into the hands of the Queen and the 14th Amendment, the right to vote and all that. You don't have no rights. Only rights they want is when the foreigners come in, and then they can gerrymander districts up. So, that this Democrat get most of the vote and this Republican get the popular vote and all that kind of stuff. The what you call that thing? The elective whatever. And you don't even
get electoral.
Even go there.
Electoral. Yeah. Yeah. Because, this charter is telling you how the game was played. He made it pretty clear in the charter. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
They fight over these candidates, and they're just wasting their time. A lot of people are really, really, really bad at going out there running to vote. That tells you right then and there that you don't have nothing. Nothing.
Well, agree. Totally agree, sis. But the part that just, again, fucks me all the way up, he said, and if you need to switch this shit up, switch that motherfucking shit up. As long as it's for the benefit of the corporation.
Of the Queen.
Do it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Everything, all in this charter. Did one time that you hear that them say for the benefit of the people? Did one time that so far you heard him say in the common law of things? I ain't fucking heard that yet or read that yet. He made it crystal clear that it is totally about the corporation. He out the gate assigned who the officers of the corporation is. He told them when they can motherfucking have elections, on what date, all of that. All right.
Sure did.
Here we go. Okay, so it's saying, and by such bylaws, rules, orders, and ordinance to sell, impose, and inflict reasonable pain and penalties upon any offender or offenders who shall transgress, break, or violate the said bylaws, constitutions, order, and ordinances so made as foresaid, and to mitigate the same as they or the major part of them present shall find cause, which such pains and penalties shall and may be levied, sued for, taken, retained, and recovered
by the said corporation and their successors. I'm going to read that again. Shall find cause, which said pains and penalties shall and may be levied, sued for, taken, retained, and recovered by the said corporation and their successors, by their officers and servants from time to time to be appointed for that purpose, by action of debt, or by any other lawful ways or means, to the use and behoof of said corporation and their successors, all and singular, which bylaws, constitutions, orders, and ordinances, so as foresaid, to be made, shall be duly observed and kept under the pains and penalties therein to be contained, so always as the said bylaws, constitution, ordinances, pains and penalties from time to time be made and imposed, be reasonable and not contrary or repugnant to the laws or statutes of this our realm, and that such bylaws, constitutions, and ordinances, pains and penalties from time to time be made and opposed, and any repeal or alteration thereof, or any of them may be likewise agreed to be established and confirmed by the said general meeting of the said corporation to be held and kept next after the same shall be respectfully made. And whereas the said corporation intends to settle a colony and to make a habitation and plantation in that part of our province of South Carolina in America, herein after described. All right? So remember, this is the charter of Georgia. All right? So they knew that was originally South Carolina territory. All right, so know ye, therefore, that we greatly desiring the happy success of the said corporation for their further encouragement in accomplishing so excellent a work, have our aforesaid grace, certain knowledge, and mere motion given and granted by these present for us, our heirs and successors. I'm sorry, go ahead, sis, you got something?
No, I was looking at something. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
Forgot I was
No worries. Do give and grant to the said corporation and their successors under the reservation, limitation, and declaration hereafter expressed 7 undivided parts, the whole in 8 equal parts to be divided of all those lands, countries, and territories satiate, lying and being in that part of South Carolina in America, which lies from the most northern part of a stream of river there, commonly called the Savannah, all along the sea coast to the southward unto the most southern stream of a certain other greater water or river called Alatamaha, and that kind of looked like Alabama to me, y'all, but I would have to go to the map and look. And westerly from the heads of the said rivers respectively, in direct lines to the South Seas, and all that share, circuit, and precinct of land within the said boundaries, with the island on the sea, lying opposite to the eastern coast of the said lands, within 20 leagues of the same, which are not inhabited already or settled by any authority derived from the Crown of Great Britain, together with all soils, grounds, havens, ports, gulfs, and bays, mines, as well as royal mines of gold and silver, as other minerals, precious stones, quarries, woods, rivers, water, fishing. Go ahead, sis.
I do have a question. Now, we know a lot of this area that they colonized were buildings already here. So they're not saying how come the land was so raw when they got here. You know what I'm saying? Because we know the Ohio's and all that kind of stuff had mounds, and all that stuff was still here, and they have artifacts where the layers have been built up. Maybe it came after the flood, all this rough area they're talking about. I don't know, but because there's a lot of underground things on the East Coast too.
Well, if you're talking about the South, remember that part that they call low country, because they still call it low country today. And I learned something out of this series from this author of White Trash, that low country was inhabitable. All right, so that's kind of what he's referring to. Now, we do know that the northern part of the Americas, that was kind of settled first.
Right.
And we know that from, shout out to John Levy's work, that all of those buildings, those ancient buildings, very few of them still stand today. But those that stood back in the 1500s, that's because they were the European kingdoms, the black nobility kingdoms, were already over here doing commerce, but mainly on that East Coast and the upper northern part. So it does make sense to me that as he's explaining in this charter, and specifically the territory, and shout out to Purple Pill, you hit it right on the motherfucking head. The Gullah territories, absolutely. Anciently called Gullah, absolutely. So he is explaining that particular area. So all of those surrounding islands and all of that, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I get exactly what they're saying in the charter. That's, only because I'm a Southerner too. I know that area too. So, all right. So you see where he naming all of the motherfucking resources. How the fuck you gonna charter the waters? Goddammit. The fish. You gonna put the motherfucking fish up in the charter? The fish. That's fucking me all the way up. The fish. The waters. That's deep. As well, royal fishing of whale and sturgeon, as other fishing pearls. Okay, now remember when we did the giant series, remember that giant mummy that they pulled up and they were covered in pearls? So here it is in the motherfucking charter. Pearls, commodities, jurisdictions, royalties, franchises, privileges, and pre-MCs within the said frontiers and precincts thereof and thereunto, and any sort belonging or appertaining, and which we by our letters patent may or can grant, and in as ample manner and sort as we may or any of our royal progeny have hitherto granted to any company, body, politic, or corporate, or to any adventurer or adventurers, undertaker or undertakers of any discoveries, plantation, or traffic of, in, or into any foreign parts whatsoever, and in as large and ample manner as if the same were herein particularly mentioned and expressed, to have and to hold and possess and enjoy. And said 7 undivided parts, the whole into 8 equal parts, to be divided as aforesaid, and all and singular the lands, county, countries, and territories, with all and singular other the premises herein before these presents granted or mentioned, or intended to be granted to them, the said corporation and their successors forever, for the better support of the said colonies, to be holden of us, our heirs and successors, as our honor of Hampton Court and our county of Middlesex, in free and common sacrage, and not in captivity, yielding and paying therefore to us, our heirs and successors, yearly forever, the sum of 4 shillings for every 100 acres of said lands, which the said corporation shall grant, demise, plant, or settle, the said payments not to commence or to be made until 10 years after such grant. So they gave them 10 years before they had to start paying back to the crown. Demise, planting, or settling, and to answer and pay to us, our heirs and successors, in such manner, in such species of money or notes as shall be incurrent in payment by proclamation from time to time in our said province of South Carolina, all which lands, countries, territories, and premises hereby granted or mentioned and intended to be granted. We do by these presents make, erect, and create one independent and separate province by the name of Georgia, by which name we will the same henceforth be called, and that all and every person or persons shall at any time hereafter inhabit or reside within our said province shall be and are hereby declared to be free. All right, so did y'all catch that? He set the colony up, the Georgia colony up, for people to be free, and shall not be subject. Shit, y'all, this shit is deep. And shall not be subject to or be bound to obey any laws, orders, statutes, or constitutions which have been heretofore made, ordered, or enacted by, for, or as the laws, orders, statutes, or constitutions of our said province or South Carolina, save and except only commander-in-chief of the militia of our said province of Georgia, to our governor for the time being of South Carolina, in manner hereafter declared, but shall be subject to and bound to obey such laws, orders, statutes, and constitutions as shall from time to time be made, ordered, and enacted for better government in said province of Georgia in the manner here and after declared. So I'm going to pause. Who originally did he set those constitution, laws, and statutes and shit for? Then he set it for the people that were beholden to the to the corporation. That's what he was saying.
You know, that may be why Trump is such a rogue, because he knows all them charters are not for him, and he doesn't have to obey the Constitution. That's probably why all these presidents come up and start doing all this.
No, he's saying the opposite.
Yeah, I know
it does
but no.
apply to them. It applies to all that shit applies to them.
But they think it doesn't, because they got rid of
it applies to them because they're under they're working for the corporation.
True that,
so
but
that's
you know
who the fuck it applies to.
And then they're just ignoring it now. There's no enforcer. If you have nobody to enforce it, you know, if you have a law and nobody to enforce it, you don't have any laws, right? You're lawless.
But my whole point of the matter is, where I was trying to go with it, why the fuck are commoners attaching themselves to documents that didn't have shit to do with them? Out the gate, it didn't have shit to do with them.
Well, you know, there's an article of Marbury versus Madison, and it says that. But to get the justices or the state or somebody to overturn a ruling against you based on states, codes, statutes, and all that kind of stuff, try it. It's supposed to work 100% of the time, but it doesn't.
Right. I 1,000% agree with you, sis, and I'm not advocating by one bit for folks to go up in their motherfucking courts, because when you step across their courts, you up under their jurisdiction. I am not advocating that you go in there and show your monk ass and get locked the fuck up. That I am not advocating at all. I am just stating that the general populace don't know what the fuck that Constitution was for. They don't know and understand that it is a corporation. And it's always going to be about what's best for the corporation. That's just like anybody that works on a regular job, which is a corporation, and somebody fucking with you, one of the officers of said corporation is fucking with you, and you take your dizzy dumb ass to HR thinking you finna get some motherfucking justice and get your ass handed to you. Because they are there for the benefit of the corporation, not you. The same way that America corporations are ran, they got the shit from Roman law, which is what I am reading you now. This all comes from Roman law / European law / the crown. And everybody running around here with their drawers in the bunch talking about a corporate, not even a corporate, talking about the Constitution and talking about common law, talking about their rights and this and this and this and that. And that shit was never meant to apply to you unless you are an officer of said corporation. And especially those that are indigenous to the to the land. What the fuck is your problem? Out the gate, it wasn't meant for you. It wasn't even meant for the settlers, the indentured servants, because it was a business contract to conduct commerce for the purpose of the trust that they set the land up to pay back, to make payments to the crown. All right. And you see they weren't fucking around. They named the motherfucking water and the fish and all precious minerals and resources. And people still running around thinking it's about their funk ass rights. And that's the furthest from the truth. They don't give a fuck about your rights. It's about commerce. All right. And our will and pleasure is that all and every persons who time to time to be chosen appointed treasurer or treasurers, secretary or secretaries of the said corporation in manner herein after directed shall during such times as they shall serve in said offices respectfully by incapable of being a member of said corporations. All right, so all them titles he just named up in this motherfucking charter. Treasurer, secretaries, all of them titles still hold the day at each branch of government. At the county level, at the state level, at the federal level. And folks still don't think that this shit is corporate and about commerce. All right. And we do further of our special grace, certain knowledge and mere motion for us, our heart and successors, grant by these presents to the said corporation their successors, that it shall be lawful for them and their officers or agents, and those that study. I know y'all done seen that agent word attached to a few little things. At all times hereafter to transport and convey out of our realm of Great Britain or any other of our dominions into the said province of Georgia, to be there settled all such so many of our loving subjects or any foreigners. I'm going to go back just a little bit. To be there settled all such so many of our loving subjects or any foreigners that are willing to become our subjects and live under our allegiance in the said colony, and shall be willing to go to inhabit or reside there with sufficient shipping, armor, weapons, powder, shot, ordnance, munition, victuals, merchandise, and wares, as are esteemed by the wild people. Doting, implements, furniture, cattle, horses, mares, and all other things necessary for the said colonies and for the use and defense and trade with the people there, and in passing and returning to and from the same. Also we do for ourselves and successors declare by these presents that all and every that person shall happen to be born within the said province, and every of their children and posterity shall have and enjoy all liberties, franchises, and immunities of free descendants and natural born subjects within any of our dominions, to all intents and purposes, as if abiding and born within this our kingdom of Great Britain or any other of our dominions, and for the greater ease and encouragement of our loving subjects and such others as shall come to inhabit it in our said colonies, we do by these presents for us, our heirs and successors, grant, establish, and ordain that forever hereafter there shall be a liberty of conscience allowed in the worship of God to all persons inhabiting or which shall inhabit or be resident within our said province, and that all such persons, except papists, shall have a free exercise of their religion, so they be content with the quiet and peaceable enjoyment of the same, not giving offense or scandal to the government. And our further will and pleasure is, and we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, declare and grant that it shall and may be lawful for the Second Common Council or the major part of them assembled for that purpose in the name of the corporation and under the common seal to distribute, convey, assign, and set over such particular portions of lands, tenements, and hereditaments by these presents granted to the said corporation unto such our loving subjects, natural born, dissidents, or others that shall be willing to become our subjects and live under our allegiance in the said colony upon such terms and for such estates and upon such rents, reservations, and conditions as the same may be lawfully granted, and as to the said common council or the major part of them so present shall seem fit and proper, provided always that no grant shall be made of any other parts of the said lands unto any person being a member of the said corporation or to any other person in trust for the benefit of any member of the said corporation, and that no person having any estate or interest in law or equity in any part of the said lands shall be capable of being a member of the said corporation during the continuance of such estate or interest. Provided also that no greater quantity of lands be granted either entirely or in parcel to or for the use or in trust for any one person than 500 acres, and that all grants made contrary to the true intent and meaning hereof shall be absolutely null and void. All right, shit, he said a mouthful there.
Damn sure did.
You got something you want to put on it? I need to grab me some more water. Shit, I didn't straight off my water that quick. So put something on it right quick. I'll be right back. I got to grab a bottle of water.
People are dependent on this paperwork and treaties and everything that were signed. And he's saying that anything prior to what he putting down is null and void. That means you ain't got nothing coming out of none of that paperwork.
Yep.
But people want to keep asking for stuff.
Yep.
And he's clearly laying out that they took shit. Their dominion. That means that they dominated that land. They dominated the people. And their descendants, who because of paperwork have a legal claim and right to do you the way that they do within the very system that y'all want to keep. Why you want to keep this system alive is beyond me. To keep this system alive is to say that you want to continue to be a prisoner of war. You want to continue asking another motherfucker for something. You want to sit up and elect new motherfuckers to be your new masters. Then that's what the fuck they are. You say that they're your employees and they work for you. Ain't them motherfuckers with Secret Service agents and security around the clock? You can't even get near these motherfuckers unless they decide to come in the hood asking for votes. But if you ask a serious question, you're going to get bounced up out of anybody's goddamn session.
Yeah.
But the Constitution is all this and all that. They ignore the shit. Why would you even feel comfortable submitting some paper to somebody who blatantly ignores the shit? If you're not of that bloodline, as you see a citizen in a corporate nationality, all they do is make you a good citizen.
Right.
That means you're their subject.
Right. Who are granted privileges.
Right. Because that's all you got is privileges. You have no rights. That's why they can do what they want to do to you.
Yep. And they switch
I
up
guess
from
y'all
privilege
go.
how they feel.
Yeah, so, you know, I guess, yeah, I mean, people want privileges, not rights. Don't nobody have to tell you what your...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nobody have to tell you what your rights are if you're living by natural law.
Exactly.
If you truly belong to the land and have that connection with mama, if you're rooted to the land, other than that, you just a squatter.
Yeah.
A useless eater, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But this might we're going to be off subject for a minute, but I got to go here because it's been out for a minute.
No.
Okay, they say that...
Right on time. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
They say that one of the key reasons that women commit abortions is because they can't afford to take care of the child. And a lot of people agree with that. Say that if you can't afford to take care of the child, then yeah, you shouldn't bring the child here to be took care of by the taxpayers and this, that, and the other, correct?
Yeah, that's what, you know, some say yes.
Then what about all these motherfuckers that can't take care of themselves and sitting around waiting for the government? Don't that mean if the government taking care of you and they're in debt and they saying they can't afford this no more, that they need to kill off part of the world's population, should that be okay? Because them motherfuckers are taking care of you, right? You ain't taking care of your damn self. So, by the logic that some of y'all are using, you should be killed. You're of no benefit and can't nobody afford to take care of your ass. These are the things that this very system says.
Right.
And this is the system that you want in place. The very system that now says that you can kill a baby that's born. You can kill it full term, all type of stuff. But what you're doing is supplying them with food and your DNA.
Yep.
You cutting off your bloodline. I mean, I'm not telling nobody what to do with their body. At all. I mean, motherfuckers got the right to do whatever they want to do. But if the people that you depend on to protect your rights to take a life decide that they want to take your life, aren't they within their right? So you motherfuckers need to quit complaining about these police shootings and all this other shit that's going on. The human trafficking, all that, because the very system that you support is responsible for it.
Right.
But I'm not really here, so don't pay me no mind.
No, that was very, very well said, and I love the way you put that about if, you've got the government taking care of you, what does that make you? Shit. We only got a couple more paragraphs, y'all, but I did want to point out, did y'all catch that your boy, George II, he said that reservations was up under their domain too. So you natives that's calling yourself native, that think you are indigenous to the land and you are not, your BIA, all of that shit, you're under the domain of the corporation. That's why they do what the fuck they want to do to you when the fuck they feel like it. That's why they want to come and snatch the territory that they granted you, not that you own. Let's be motherfucking clear. That they granted you, and even if you hold a patent, it's still not yours. That's why they do what the fuck they want to do. And that's why Trump card is cutting your little benefit, because he's kicking you off of Medicaid or whatever your medical situation is, kicking you off of that, snatching back land, all of that. And for those of you that want to sit up and talk shit about us, quote, quote, blacks who are really the indigenous to the land, but you're up under said corporation on paper. You don't have anything by bloodline but what the fuck they feel to give you. So now that's not to everybody that's classifying themselves as native, because a lot of you don't know. So I am not by any means slinging this towards you. I'm slinging this to the arrogant motherfuckers that got the audacity to tell us indigenous who we are and who the fuck you think you are. All right, so we only got a couple more paragraphs, family. And we do hereby grant and ordain, that such person or persons for the time being as shall be thereunto appointed by the said corporation shall and may at all times and from time to time hereafter have full power and authority to administer and give the oaths appointed by an act of Parliament made in the first year of the reign of our late royal father to be taken instead of the oath of allegiance and supremacy, and also the oath of abjuration to all and every person and persons which shall at any time be inhabiting or residing within our said colony, and in like cases to administer the solemn affirmation to any of the persons commonly called Quakers, in such manner as by the laws of our realm of Great Britain the same may be administered. And we do of our further grace certain knowledge and mere motion grant, establish, and ordain for us and our heirs and successors, that the same corporation and their successors shall have full power and authority for and during the term of 21 years to commence from the date of these our letters patent, to erect and constitute judicatories and courts of record or other courts to be held in the name of us, our heirs and successors, for the hearing and determining of all manners of crimes, offenses, pleas, processes, plaintiffs, actions, matters, causes, and things whatsoever arising or happening within the said province of Georgia or between persons of Georgia, whether the same be criminal or civil, and whether the said crimes be capital or not capital, and whether the said pleas be real, personal or mixed, and for awarding and making out executions thereunto, to which courts and jurisdictories we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, give and grant full power and authority from time to time to administer oaths for the discovery of truth in any matter in controversy or depending before them, or the solemn affirmation to any of the persons commonly called Quakers, in such manners as by the laws of our realm of Great Britain the same may be administered. So you know I got to take some water on that shit. Because he said a hell of a lot.
You know, while you're taking your water, there was an Indian girl, I think a Native American, who had been raped or something. And she went to court, I don't know where I heard the story, but she went to court to, get justice from being raped and all that kind of stuff. And at the end, they said they had no jurisdiction over her. They couldn't do nothing for her. So you were reading that the adjudication in courts are strictly for them.
Yes,
I said, whoa. That's why we can't even get out of prison terms. Because everything is for them.
And interestingly, he's telling you the current court structure.
Yeah.
And how it is under the laws of our realm, Great Britain, and that who they are calling judges today are administrators. But in this particular charter for Georgia, they were saying that these administrators were put in place for the Quakers. For the Quakers. Not the indigenous people people of the land for the Quakers. All right. And are further. Oh, but I do have to say, back to your Native thing. You are correct. Native Americans do have their separate courts, and when I'm speaking of the Native Americans, I'm talking people that fall under the $5 Indian rule, the BIA, and all of that jazz. They do have their own courts and all of that, their own separate set of jurisdictions. But the sad part of it, most of those reservations are in such poverty that they are allowing the United States corporation to step in cases to give them jurisdiction to administer certain things. In particular, this was years ago, PBS did a documentary on the state of the reservation and how ravished with poverty, drug addiction, so we talking meth addiction, heroin addiction, alcoholism. So the parents of children, they're pretty much orphans at that point. And it had gotten so out of control that some of these children were leaving off of the reservations, committing crimes, and of course they would bring them back to the reservation, but so much poverty that in some cases they were partnering with the United States corporation to do administrative work with these youth in order to get the funds. So this shit is deep. This shit is really deep. And it's sad that those that are holding that title of Native Americans, you know the state of these reservations. You know it. You know that the people that are getting these privileges to open up these casinos and become these multimillionaires, and the money is supposed to be split among the tribes. I read recently where that's even being stripped down because supposedly and allegedly the revenue stream is drying up. But those at the top of that chain don't even have even their definition of Native American blood. So it's fucking sad. So even the state of folks calling themselves Native Americans, it's a hot mess. It's really, really a hot mess. And those running around calling themselves putting down the indigenous Americans that you calling us Africans, we have fucking more wealth than you. All right, so here we go. And our further will and pleasure is that the said corporation, child, I tell you, and their successors do from time to time and at all times hereafter register or cause to be registered all such leases, grants, planting settlements, conveyances, and improvements whatsoever as shall at any time hereafter be made by or in the name of the said corporation or any lands, tenements, and hereditaments within the said province. and shall yearly send and transmit or cause to be sent or transmitted authenticated accounts of such leases, grants, conveyances, settlements, and improvements, respectively, on to the auditor of the plantations for the time being, or his deputy, and as all to our surveyors for the time being of our said province of South Carolina, to whom we do hereby grant full power and authority from time to time, as often as need shall require, to expect and survey such of the said lands and premises, and shall be demised, granted, and settled as aforesaid, which said survey and inspection we do hereby declare to be intended to ascertain the quadrants which shall from time to time become due to us, our heirs and successors, according to the reservation herein before mentioned, and for no other purposes whatsoever hereby for us and our heirs and successors, who strictly enjoining and commanding that neither our or their surveyor or any other person whatsoever, under the pretense and color of making the said survey or inspection, shall take, demand, or receive any gratuity, fee, or conveyance to be made, a reward, to or from any person or persons inhabiting in the said colonies, or from the said corporation or common council thereof, on the paying or forfeiture of the said office or offices, and incurring our highest displeasure, provided always in our further will and pleasure is that all leases, grants, and conveyances to be made by or in the name of the said corporation of any lands within the said province, or a memorial containing the substance and effect thereof, shall be registered with the auditor of the said plantation of us, our heirs, and our successors within a space of 1 year, to be computed from the date thereof, otherwise the same shall be void. All right, so in other words, let's fast forward, goddammit, to today. He's talking about basically property taxes and the counties and the surveyors setting the boundaries on the leasing of the land. So folks thinking that they're paying the bank, or even if the home is paid for, that's why you're paying property taxes, because you still are just leasing the land, all right? Because it's still in their province. And in this case, he's saying reservation. And our further will and pleasure is that the rents, issues, and all other profits which shall at any time hereafter come to the said corporation, or the major part of them, which shall be present at any meeting for that purpose assembled, shall think will most improve and enlarge the said colony, and best answer the good purpose herein before mentioned, and for defraying all other charges about the same. And our will and pleasure is that the said corporation and their successors shall from time to time give in to one of the principal secretaries of state and to the commissioners of trade and plantations accounts of the progresses of the said colony. All right, so I'm going to stop. Let me take my sip of water because I want y'all to relate to what he's saying in his charter on what's going on down to the county level today. So he basically saying that the Secretary of State and them know they have
account set up for the purpose of paying back to the crown based on the commerce that's being done on the land as well as the land itself or the leases on the land, the rents. And our will and pleasure is that no act done at any meeting of the said common council of the said corporation shall be effective and valid unless 8 members at least of the said common council, including the members who shall serve as chairman at the said meeting, be present, and the major part of them consenting thereunto. And our will and pleasure is that the common council of the said corporation for the time being, or the major part of them who shall be present being assembled for that purpose, shall from time to time, for and during, and unto the full end and expiration of 21 years, to commence from the date of these our letters patents, have full power and authority to nominate, make, constitute, and commission, ordain, and appoint by such name or name, style or styles, as to them shall seem meet and fitting, and all singular such governors, judges, magistrates, ministers, and officers, civil and military, both by sea and land, with the said districts, as shall by them be thought fit and the needful to be made or used for the said government of the said colony, save always, and accept such offices only as shall by us our heirs and successors be from time to time constituted and appointed for the managing, collecting, receiving such revenues as shall from time to time arise within the said province of Georgia and become due to us, our heirs and successors. So once again, he's making it crystal motherfucking clear that rent, all of the profits coming through the said corporation is to be paid back to his heirs, the crown's heirs and successors. Provided always, and it is our will and pleasure, that every governor of said province of Georgia to be appointed by the common council of the said corporation before he shall enter upon or execute the said office of governor shall be appointed by us, our heirs or successors, and shall take said oath, such oath, and shall qualify himself in such manner in all respects as any governor or commander-in-chief of any of our colonies or plantations in America. I'm going to read that shit again. Provided always, and it is our will and pleasure, that every governor of said province of Georgia to be appointed by the common council of the said corporation before he shall enter upon or execute the said office of governor shall be approved by us, our heirs or successors, and shall take such oath and shall qualify himself in such manner in all respects as any governor or commander-in-chief of any of our colonies or plantations in America are by law required to do so, and shall give good and sufficient security for observing the several acts of Parliament relating to trade and navigation, and to observe and obey all instructions that shall be sent to him by us, our heirs and successors,
or any acting under our authority or their authority, pursuant to the said acts or any of them. And we do by these presents present for us our heirs and successors will grant and ordain that the said corporation and their successors shall have full power for enduring until the full end and term of 21 years, to commence from the date of these our letters patent by any commander or any other officer or officers by them for that purpose from time to time, appointed to train and instruct, exercise and govern a militia for the special defense and safety of our said colony, to assemble in martial array the inhabitants of the said colony, and to lead and conduct them, and with them to encounter, expose, repel, resist, and pursue by force of arms, as well as by sea as by land, within or annoyance of our said colony, and to use and exercise the martial law in time of actual war and invasion or rebellion, in such cases where by law the same may be used or exercised, and also from time to time to erect forts and fortify any place or places within our said colony, and the same to furnish with all necessary ammunition, provisions, and stores of war for offense and defense, and to commit from time to time the custody or government of the same to such persons or persons as to them shall seem meet, and the said forts and fortifications to demolish at their pleasure, and to take and surprise by all ways and means all and every such persons or persons with their ships, arms, ammunition, and other goods, as shall in any hostile manner invade or attempt the invading, conquering, or annoying of our said colony. And our will and pleasure is, and we do hereby for us our heirs and successors declare and grant that the governor and commander-in-chief of the province of South Carolina, of us, our heirs and successors, for the time being, shall at all times hereafter have the chief command of the militia of our said province, hereby erect and establish, and that such knowledge and mere motion we have given and granted, and by these present for us, our heirs and successors, do give and grant unto the said corporation and their successors full power and authority to import and export their goods at and from any port or ports that shall be appointed by us. Years, such form of government and method of making laws, statutes, and ordinances for the better governing and ordering the said province of Georgia and the inhabitants thereof shall be established and observed within the same, as we, our heirs and successors, shall hereafter ordain and appoint, and shall be agreeably to law, and that from and after the determination of the said term of 21 years, the governor of our said province of Georgia and all officers and civil and military within the same shall from time to time be nominated and constituted and appointed by us, our heirs and successors. And lastly, we do hereby for us, our heirs and successors, grant unto the said corporation and their successors that these are letters patent patent or the enrollments of exemplification thereof shall be in and by all things good, firm, valid, sufficient, and effectual in the law according to the true intent and meaning thereof, and shall be taken, construed, and adjudged in all courts and elsewhere in the most favorable and beneficial sense, and for the best advantage of the said corporation and their successors. Any omission, imperfection, defect, matter of cause, or things whatsoever to the contrary, in any wise notwithstanding, in witness whereof we have caused these our letters to be made patent, witness ourselves at Westminster, the 9th day of June, in the 5th year of our reign. Right. So that was the Charter of Georgia, 1732, issued by King George II of Great Britain, France, and Ireland. Whew. All right, so I'll pause, Sister Sean, in case I want to put something on it so I can get some water.
What I found interesting is, at their pleasure came up an awful lot.
An awful lot.
And then the whole part when he talked about registration.
Yes.
So that means you get something, and then you be dumb enough to register it with them, so that they can claim it.
Yep.
We'll let you keep it. We'll let you work for it, pay for it, everything. Simply by paperwork, because you signed it over to us.
Right. And when they say at our pleasure, you know, my people, that translates when the fuck I feel like it. That's what that translates to.
Mm-hmm. Also, that means that whatever pleases me, I'm going to do.
Exactly.
And this is the system that our people want to keep. They
want to be top. You're right. They want to keep it, but they just want to be on top of it.
I mean, who wants to keep this fuck shit going on?
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck who at the top of this bullshit.
Exactly.
It gotta go. It don't supposed to be here. It never was supposed to be here. But
yep. And the fact that, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
No, go ahead, sis. I'm good.
Yeah, and the fact that dude clearly spells out that it's for his motherfucking people.
Yeah.
He clearly spells out that it's for his motherfucking people. And even his boys, them, who he initially appointed into those positions of the corporation, they only had so much power. They were only running it.
Right.
But they better do everything in the best benefit of the corporation, or they lunk asses was out of there.
Yeah, like you said, they couldn't get no wages or nothing like that. He like, bitch, better have my money.
Exactly. And somebody, let me scroll back up in the chat room. I think it was Purple Pills, crazy self, said, damn, you said something about prostitution. Damn, I got to roll back up. Because you, pretty much Purple Pill said that, damn, Purple Pill, what you said, I saw it scroll,
you liken something to prostitution. Shit. But anyhow, I can't find it right now because it might have been a little bit up there in the chat. But yeah, basically that's what he's saying. He like, now I'm going to grant you this patent to this land, but bitch, you don't own it, and you better have my motherfucking money. Run me my ends.
Exactly.
From said land.
Right. And everybody I send over there, you going over there to collect my money.
Exactly.
That's
and you better
what
have
it's all, right. That's what it's all about. And then the next motherfuckers in line, y'all gonna take care of my heirs. Y'all gonna make sure my kids are right. And they kids.
Oh, yeah, Purple Pill. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
I mean, he said this shit is supposed to go on forever. So we supposed to take care of his bloodline forever.
Yep. For motherfucking ever. And his boys and them are just administrators of the estate. Of their motherfucking estate.
Exactly.
So Purple Pill said Constitution/prostitution. God damn it, you hit that shit on the head. Constitution equals prostitution, also known as pimp and hoes, the oldest motherfucking game on this planet.
That's right. That's right.
And you gonna get upset with moi? Because I see the motherfucking game for what it is? Because I say I ain't nobody's hoe. I don't want the system. It was never built for us. Get the fuck out of here. All right, let me go to the callers. Ciao. Oh, and to the chat real quick. If you want to continue with us, we have less than 3 minutes, so you have to dial 929-477-3858, 929-477-3858. Otherwise, you can't get in. And if you're not going to join us, I want to thank you all so much. Yes, thank you, Alif Lane, G.D. Thompson 42. Shout out to Purple Pill. Shout out to Scotty Saturn. I was seeing from time to time, y'all was chopping it up as usual. So if you're not going to join us in overtime, thank you so much as always. You all always drop a lot of jewels in the chat, and it is much appreciated. All right, so let me go to 832 and then 310. I see you, beloved. So let me go to 832. 832, your line is open.
Rhonda, Sandra, my sisters from other vistas. Feathers up in 2020.
Feathers up.
Yeah, 2020.
United States of America down. Sean,
Indeed.
my brother from another mother, sitting on Mount Olympus, throwing them black lightning bolts down tonight.
Indeed, bro.
Happy New Year and a prosperous one to come. But I got so much rolling around in my hair, Rhonda. Let me remember our last conversation that we had about Byron Allen bringing the 1866 Civil Rights Act and law square, fore, and center. Now, he didn't run to the Supreme Court. Comcast did. So just the FYI, I don't know if any of y'all are aware, have you been hearing the news about the, I'm using air quotes, Black News Channel, whose launch was supposed to start at the beginning of the year but has been pushed back to February 10th? Have any of you?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. Is that under Brian?
No. This is former Congressman. Now, check this now. 4th District of Oklahoma, which I would imagine includes Tulsa/Greenwood Black Wall Street Business District, J.C. Watt. J.C. Watt co-founder of the Black News Channel, which will launch on February 10th during, air quotes again, Black History Month, based in Jacksonville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everything you just stated was reading